start off actually and make a fun video for Albert and Sylvia. So if you could all stand up for a moment. So what's going to happen is, come on out here. I'm going to say that Los Angeles, everyone here is going to show how loud the real estate industry is. So while people think the real estate industry is a little quiet right now, watch how loud it is. And as soon as he pans towards you, go crazy. Got it? All right. Give me a 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, some people might say that the real estate... One more time. I was so excited. All right, guys, some people might say that the real estate industry is a little bit quiet. Let me show you how loud Los Angeles is right now. This is the 9th time for Driven. 9 times for Driven. Give it up for Albert and Sylvia. Thank you, guys. You can keep it. Just don't call Kevin Hart. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about personal branding and how you guys can do it and why it's so important in the real estate industry. So on the personal brand side, everyone here has a personal brand, whether you like it or not. It's the way your friends think about you, strangers, people in your past, present, and future. People have thoughts of you in their mind. They might think of you as the single mom with 3 kids, or the guy that does real estate, or someone that loves chess or pickleball or poker or football or surfing. They might think about one aspect of your life and not know all the things that you're actually up to. And the reason for that is you don't show them. They only see what they hear from someone else, or what they see when you're outside at school, or what they see when you pass by them at work. They only see one aspect of your life because you don't show them the other parts of your life. Too often people just show the real estate, or just show their personal life, or just show one thing because they're scared to show the other parts of it. The reason you want to show other parts is you want to build up an emotional attachment. If you build up an emotional attachment because people see that you love to go hiking, you love working out, you like coming to the Driven event, you're hard at work, you hang out with your family, you hang out with your friends, you show them different aspects of your life, people will build an emotional attachment. If they build an emotional attachment, it will lead to what's called top of mind awareness. So when someone says mortgage, when someone says refinance, when someone says real estate or a notary, whatever part of the industry you might be in, they think of you. And if you can do that, if you can build the emotional attachment and get that key word, that top of mind awareness, you will be rich forever. So let me give you a real life example. So when I first got to Los Angeles, I was flying in, and as soon as I landed inside of LAX, there was a billboard and it said, #1 real estate agent. And I got into the Uber, I'm driving through, and there was a billboard, #1 real estate agent, #1 real estate agent. Getting over here to the Sheraton Grand Hotel, it's Driven 9, super excited to see Albert and Sylvia, and right outside the hotel, there's this big billboard, #1 real estate agent. And a bus drove by that said, #1 real estate agent. And none of them were the same person. And I don't remember any of their names. But let me give you a different example. Let's say I'm at dinner tonight, and it's Albert and Sylvia, and Mario Lopez, and Glenn Stern, and all these amazing speakers, and Mark Shapiro, and they're like, you know what we should do? We should buy a building in downtown LA. And I say, there's this girl named Amanda. You should buy it from her. Every Monday night, Amanda goes on date night. Every Tuesday morning, Amanda takes all the kids, and they carpool with the other local kids in her area, and she carpools them to school. Every Wednesday, her and her girlfriends, they go out for drinks, they have wine. Every Wednesday night, this cool little wine bar. Every Thursday, no matter what, she actually goes and visits her dad. Her dad's a little bit sick, so she goes and visits him in the hospital. Every Friday, what's really cool is they do like a potluck dinner at her house. Saturday mornings, she goes hiking with the dogs, and every Sunday, super sweet, her grandma, she's in a wheelchair, her name is Deborah, and her hips kind of hurt. Every Sunday morning, she takes her to church. And Albert and Sylvia and Mario Lopez are like, man, how long have you known Amanda? Like, well, I've actually never met her before. I just follow her on Instagram. And then I go do a group DM. I'm like, hey, Amanda, I know you don't know me, but Albert and Sylvia and Mario Lopez, they actually want to buy a building in downtown LA. Can you help them? And then they go buy a $4 million building. She makes 3%, 120 grand, and doesn't know who I am. Why didn't I refer #1 real estate agents? I have no emotional attachment to them. You guys have heard the saying, we buy from people that we know, like, and trust. I don't know, like, or trust the billboards. If all 5 of those #1 agents walked in, I wouldn't know who they are. But I know Amanda, and I know about her grandma, Deborah, and her hurt hip. I know she likes to go hiking. I know about date night. I know about her and her friends. How can I know, like, and trust someone more than grandmas and puppies and babies and kids, right? I have an emotional attachment to her. And the top of mind awareness was, she also does real estate. So in those moments, when someone's at dinner, they think of you. You're in insurance, you're in car sales, you're in real estate, mortgages, whatever that keyword is, this will make you rich. People thinking of you. And you build it over time through consistency. My job here is to remove the restrictions in your mind that real estate and social media is hard. It's not hard. You have an unlimited amount of videos that you can make, unlimited amount of photos you can make. Every aspect of what you're doing, your real life, is interesting to us. And us being your followers. Whether you have 1,200 followers or 12,000, it actually doesn't matter. I spend over $60 million a year paying influencers for brands, products, and mobile apps. Most of my requests from the brands are for micro-influencers. People with 7,000 followers, 25,000 followers, 12,000 followers. You know why? A micro-influencer in a niche category, like real estate, is going to convert better than some girl that's super hot, or some guy that's super buff, or someone that's really funny that has hundreds of thousands, because that's a general audience compared to a niche audience. Does that make sense? Your 12,000 real estate followers will convert way better than someone that's funny with 200,000. Because that's a generalized audience. Doesn't mean that a brand shouldn't also post with someone with a big audience, but this will convert better. You will convert better in your niche, in your category. So if someone is welding cars, and I post something car related, that will convert better. If a girl does makeup videos, that will convert better about makeup. Compared to someone with 10 times her following, won't convert as good as her. She might have 12,000, they've got 250,000, she will convert better if she makes makeup content versus just a pretty girl. Niche content, niche audiences are more important. So if you can build a niche audience in what you guys are doing, doesn't matter, cars, insurance, real estate, any category, health and fitness, personal trainer, whatever it is that you're up to, if you can build that niche following, 5,000 followers, 10,000, 20,000, you don't need to have hundreds of thousands of followers. So I'm going to remove the 4 restrictions from your mind. All right, guys, be honest with me. Who here has an iPhone? All right, raise your hand if you have an Android. 6 of you. You have one of the nicest cameras in human history. And every year, you're going to buy the iPhone 16, then the 17, then the 21, then the 23, and your camera will get better and better and better and better and better. So at all times, 24 hours a day, you have a beautiful camera within 10 feet of you. Always. And so you have no excuse to not be able to make videos or photos. This $40,000 camera is going to be, every year, more expensive, harder to get. You don't need this $40,000 camera. It might be $80,000. That camera is unattainable for most people, and that won't fit in your pocket. What does fit in your pocket is this fancy phone that you have always, forever. And so when you think about this, your phone camera videos will actually convert 600% higher than this fancy camera. This $40,000 to $80,000 camera will convert 1/6 less than your fancy one that's inside of your actual phone camera. Why? Because this one, right, on a fancy red camera or a fancy super expensive camera, looks like a commercial. What do we do when we see commercials? We scroll by it, we swipe by it, we go get popcorn or we go to the bathroom. We do something else, but we rarely watch the commercial because we feel like we're being sold to. Everyone here sees, every day, 3,500 logos and brands per day. We just don't feel it anymore. Whether you're wearing a Dodgers, Rolex, Gatorade, water, Prime, boom. We're seeing logos all the time and we become numb to it. And so when someone pushes a commercial to us, we don't want to see it. So fancy camera videos, it's not saying that you can't do it sometimes because it looks good, but the phone video, like if you go look at Tai Lopez or Gary Vee, look at their phone videos where they're holding up their phone. And look at their videos that's got like fireworks and unicorns popping out. that video will be 1/6, literally 1/6 the amount of engagement as this video from a phone. So you have no excuse to make content. You do not need this amazing camera here because your phone camera is amazing too. Next, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Threads, and Twitter are free, 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 and free. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have an excuse. You might hear my tones a little bit aggressive. It's because I pay tens of millions of dollars to people to make influencer content, and it works. The things that are in your mind holding you back, that it's too expensive, or I don't have a nice camera, I don't have a videographer, they're not real. Those are fake excuses in your mind. And so some of my tone might be a little aggressive. It's because I've watched it change people's lives. There's a 93-year-old lady I spend over $600,000 with each year to make funny content. People come inside of her nursing home, and she will throw yogurt at them, or she'll throw... The doctors and nurses will come in, and she'll just flip over the table. She makes funny content, but just 3 years ago, she couldn't afford $900 in rent. And now just me, other agencies pay her too, just me spends $600,000 with her. You can do content, right? If a 90-year-old lady can do it from a hospital bed that she can't walk, you have no excuse. So the camera's with you all the time. The platforms are free. Each of the platforms has 1 billion users, 2 billion users, 1 billion users, 2 billion users. You've got the whole dang world there, and there's more and more users getting onto the phones, onto the social media platforms because of Starlink. Elon Musk company, Starlink. They're adding powerful Wi-Fi in places that have never had Wi-Fi or had weak Wi-Fi. And so the speed at which Elon Musk is deploying Starlink around the planet is going to make social media platforms way bigger, because now people in Middle East, South America, different European countries, etc., they're now finally getting access to Wi-Fi for the first time in history. So when they get access to Wi-Fi, what do? Whee! They've never seen Facebook and Instagram before. They've never bought things before. They're finally going to be able to go on there. And a lot of people that had bad Wi-Fi or okay Wi-Fi, they're going to spend more money and more time on social media platforms, which is huge for us, because that's going to happen all over the planet. So you have the camera, you have the platforms, there's billions of users, and now you might think, no one cares, my content is boring. When you talk about what you're up to, what you do, it looks like magic to all of us. Let me give you an example. All right, I need you to be honest again. Who here, if that sink broke in the green room, could actually go fix the sink? All right, so there's 6, 7, 8 people are liars. So the other 300, 400 people can't fix the sink, so it looks like magic to us when someone makes plumbing content, which sounds like it would be boring. Plumbing content sounds boring. And the 8 people that might be able to fix it would like to learn from an expert. Does that make sense? So people that have no idea, mind-blowing. People that have some idea that think they can fix the sink would love to learn from an expert. So if you're an expert in your category, real estate, mortgage, insurance, sales, etc., it looks like magic to us, and it might feel boring to you because you've done it for 8 years, 15 years, etc. You might be in one category that feels boring. It's not boring to us. It's magic. Whether it's plumbing or real estate, everything in between looks like magic to us. So all you have to do is make content about what you actually do, what you actually know, and mix in your real life. If you like hiking or surfing or poker or football or going to the gym or running, those things are part of the emotional attachment. Showcasing your life when you go to the Driven concert. You're here at the Driven conference, you should be making pictures and videos for the last 2 days. Throughout today, you're going to have all these amazing people up on stage. You can make quick content, but then out in the hallways, there's other people, there's hundreds of other people in your industry that you can make content with also. For free, and it takes 12 seconds, 36 seconds, 47 seconds. You don't have an excuse about making content. You're here at Driven 9 with an amazing lineup, and you're here around other people that are in your industry. Make quick content. I'm not asking you to spend any money. I'm not asking you to spend hours and hours doing it. It's in your real life, you make content. You're going to the office, make content. You're going to the gym, make content. And I'm not asking for long content. Photos, 40-second videos, 60-second videos, 30-second videos. It does not have to be as hard as we make it in our minds. You do not have to feel like, oh my God, I can't do this and I can't do that, and that person's videos are so fancy. The fancy videos do not convert as well as yours. You're at Albert's office, make some videos and photos. You're at your office, your friend's office, make some videos and photos. You're traveling with your family. Making content feels overwhelming because we have this thing in our mind that everything has to be perfect. If nothing else you learn from me today, remember these terms. This will change your entire life. Perfect is not relatable. Perfect is not relatable. When we see content that looks absolutely perfect, we don't believe it. Let me give you a real life example. So 8 months ago, I had my first baby. If I had my little 8-month-old here, and she was smiling and holding a little bowl of cereal, and everything was perfect, I don't think you'd believe it. What if the same baby was over here, and the bowl of cereal was flying, and the spoon was up in the air, and I was like this? That would have humongous engagement, right? Because all of us have had situations where the baby makes a mess, throws the food off, throws a spoon, etc. Perfect baby, not relatable. Messy baby, relatable. When you showcase your life, perfect versus messy, this will always convert better. When you go to a real estate listing and you showcase the things that are happening at that house, at that listing, and you showcase how you're building it under construction, that's emotional attachment. You show us the perfect house, that everything's magical, or like, yep, I bought it for $1 million, I'm selling it for 200 million. Okay, bro, that's not true, right? It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel real when it's just perfectly shining and done. So I'm going to give you another example. Let's say, right now, this gentleman posts about his real estate listing this Sunday, 12 p.m., $1.5 million condo in downtown LA. And he's got 10,000 followers. Out of 10,000 followers, a very, very, very few amount are looking to buy a house. A very few amount from there are looking to buy a condo. A very few amount from there are looking to spend in that $1.5 million range. There's too many variables for that exact area, that exact price point, and needing to transition from their current rental house or their current house into that house. You see the problem? The math problem. So none of those 10,000 followers are going to show up, and none of them are going to repost it or share it, because why would they? Let's say she has the same exact listing in the same exact building, the unit next door. And she starts posting 2 weeks in advance. Hey guys, I just got this new listing. I'm so excited. This unit is 2 bedrooms. It's 1,700 square feet. We're going to actually do a couple upgrades before our big listing coming up next Sunday at 12 o'clock. Let me show you inside. And she puts in the ring cam and security cameras here. Do you guys think I should put ring cams over here on the backside by the patio too? What do you guys think? Comment below. The next day, it's like, hey guys, we just got in our cabinets. We're going to install these cabinets here, but look, I was able to buy these cabinets at 25% off because I went to this website. Let me show you what it is. It's in here, the link's in my bio. Wednesday, hey guys, guess what? I really want to do marble here, but should I do it marble? Should I do it black, gray, or white? Let me know, comment below, black, gray, or white. Hey guys, it's Friday, super excited, 9 days away from my listing. The bathrooms, I found these toilets, and they have this freaking seats that are heated, and it just kind of pops up. Look at this, watch this. Hey guys, guess what? I found this cool plants. They're called blooming tables. The blooming tables are all glass. I got these blooming tables for $400. They got plants inside of them. Look, I got 3 of them, and I put them inside here. You see what I'm doing? By the time next week comes, this is our unit, right? We know where the plumbing is, where the bathrooms are, where the security camera, we feel a part of this unit. So now, she has the exact same 10,000 followers as he does. Everything is the same mathematically, same unit, same 1.5 million, everything's the same except she built an emotional attachment. So now, on Wednesday or Thursday of next week, 4 days before the listing, what does she say? Hey guys, you would really help me out. This Sunday at 12 o'clock is my listing. If you could post about it or share with your friends, maybe your family members or someone you work with, maybe they could come by the open house, that would help me a lot. Comment below. 45 people posted. 15 people forwarded to their grandmas, uncles, friends, boss, etc. And now she's got 50 or 60 people at her open house, and he has 0. How much did it cost her? $0. And by the way, what I didn't tell you, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, all those different videos, it was actually the same day. She brought her outfits with her and just did all of that in 1 hour and had 2 weeks of content on the same day. It does not have to be hard. It costs her nothing. It's her unit. And if she can make 3% on 1.5 million, that's $45,000. It's worth it. The things that I'm talking about cost you nothing and are worth it forever. And if you do it on a consistent basis, and you remove these fears from your mind, she wasn't having to have this $40,000 camera come make the high-end video. Did you notice I didn't do a tour video? I didn't do some fancy tour video with drones and fireworks. She was showing the marble and the toilets and the security cameras. She's making them feel a part of it. If she just did the perfect thing and just showcased the perfect version, here's the marble that I got, here's the bathroom that I got, here's what the Ring cameras. If you showed the final version of everything, what do we care? We're not a part of that journey. We're not a part of that story. But after a week of seeing all these things that she's up to, we feel indebted to her because she taught us something. She taught us how to save 25% on the cameras. She taught us about blooming tables, these cool tables that are only $400. She taught us things along the way she didn't show off to us. This person posts, look at my Lamborghini. This person posts the exact same Lamborghini, but says, in 1982, I had a protege from Mazda. I had to save up $700. I had duct tape on the freaking tire. After all these years, I finally saved up for my dream car. Let me teach you how. Huge engagement? You're a jerk, right? The perfect one where you're just showing off the perfect body, the perfect car, and not teaching us how you got the perfect body, how you bought the perfect car, it's a huge difference. Same photo, same person, it's how you say it, it's how you showcase it. And the last part of the social media, and I'm going to talk about investing. The last part of social media is every one of the platforms, it sounds like, oh, Dan wants me to post on 6 different platforms. I do. But you only have to make content for one of them and then use this word, repurposing. Repurposing is you make your photo or video for one platform, you copy and paste the exact same caption, and then you post that Instagram photo on Facebook, on Threads, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. You do not have to make custom content for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. The only platform that you need to make custom content for is YouTube, but if you notice, I haven't been mentioning YouTube. That is not a social media platform. YouTube is a media platform. YouTube is like television. There's nothing social about it. You don't go there and comment back and forth. You don't share it with people like that. It's not designed like that. It's designed for us to go watch it like television. People will watch long-form videos, but you don't have to post there daily. You could post 10 or 20 videos in a year, and you're way ahead of everybody else. Social media platforms are Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. The reason you need to post on every platform is you don't know where your next customer lives, where your next referral lives. You don't know where the people are based on the platforms that they're at. So you might only have 200 followers here, 900 followers there. You need to be posting because 900 becomes 1,200, 1,200 becomes 2,000, 2,000 becomes 3,000, etc. The consistency of you posting is what makes you stand out. People see my account and they're like, oh my God, you've got like 7,000 or 8,000 posts on Instagram. Yeah, I'm old when it comes to social media. 14 years ago, I started posting once or twice a day, 365 days a year, times 14, 5,000 days, once or twice times 5,000, that's 7,000 or 8,000, isn't it? The things I'm telling you, I do it in real life. I'm not preaching at you something that I haven't done every single day. You go look at my account, and I post once or twice a day, every single day, for the last 14 years. And I will keep posting once or twice a day forever. Billionaires and zillionaires and people you've seen up on stage, household names still post on social media. Why? It can truly impact the world even after they've gotten their financial success. When I first started my charity, it's called Trina's Kids Foundation, there was 8 of us on the floor wrapping toys. The next year, there's 21 of us wrapping toys. Year 3, there's 40 of us wrapping toys, asking for donations. 2 years ago, we covered SoFi Stadium with 118,000 toys and got the Guinness Book World Records for our biggest toy drive in history. Last year, we did it at the Miami Heat Arena again, and we did it in 11 cities last year. Us breaking the world record of toys came from 8 of us on the floor, 20 of us on the floor, 40 of us on the floor. It wasn't like Dan just donated millions of dollars to try to break a record. It didn't happen. Math and time compounds. Every single day, if you post on social media, you will become the biggest in your space. If every single day you showcase your life, people will think about you. If people think about you, and you get into their minds that you're really good at what you do, they will refer you clients. They will buy from you. Remember when Neil Patel said he bought from Josh Altman's brother 5 times? Some of those houses were $20 million. Do you see how staggering that is? How worth it is for Matt and Josh to just post on social media and be on TV and be out there? It took years, so I'm not trying to say it's overnight success, but the consistency is you're already going to work. You're already going to school. You're already going to events, and you already have your cell phone with you. Nothing that I'm asking about takes more money, time, or energy. It's just embedding it into your mind that in these moments, you pull your cell phone out. When you're out with your girlfriends having dinner, you make a quick photo or video with them. You're out with your friends playing basketball, you make a quick photo or video with them. In these moments, and by the way, everybody I just mentioned, the girlfriends at dinner, the friends at basketball, they want to make photos and videos too. But it's kind of like back in high school. You guys remember in high school, all the boys are on one side and all the girls on one side? And then finally, there's one brave boy that walks over and asks for the dance. What happens to the dance floor? Party starts, right? Everybody rushes to the dance floor. The same thing with your friends. If you walk up to your friends, or you're at dinner, or you're at basketball, and you're like, hey, let's do a quick photo together, let's do a quick video, they will rush to the dance floor with you. Because they want to do the same thing also. They also want the fun photo. They also want to create memories. You're the one that leads it. Even if you're an introvert, it's really easy to do. All right, I'm going to take off my social media hat and put on my investing hat and teach you guys about investing. Who likes to make money? What's better than making money is what's called generational wealth. Generational wealth takes long-term investing. Generational wealth is actually mandatory in our society now because of inflation. Raise your hand if you have children. Your children are likely to live to over 100 years old. Our parents lived to 73 to 77, 73 for men, 77 for women. If you're a little bit older in my age, if you're under 30 years old, your parents are probably living to 83 to 85 years old on average. But what happens if you live to 103? What if your child lives to 103? Why does that matter? Well, we'd like to retire at 65 to 75, right? I know it sounds sad to say, but normally you only needed money till like 75 to 80 years old or 85-ish years old. What if your kid needs to have money till 103? You see the math problem? What if they want to get by on 60 grand a year for their family and they were to retire at 75 to 103? That's 38 years, 32 years, 40 years of money they need saved up times 60,000. That's $2 million they need saved up. Anybody know what the average American has? $5,500. You see the difference between $5,500 and $2 million? We have to do investing. We have to be able to talk about money. The reason my podcast has been #1 for 104 weeks in a row, it's not because I'm some magical wizard. It's I have very blunt discussions about money. I only talk about 3 things on the Money Mondays: how to make money, how to invest money, how to give it to charity. Nothing else. And every single week, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because we grew up thinking it's rude to talk about money. Right now, we're going to have a very blunt discussion about money because you have to talk about money. You have to learn about investing. the fact that you happen to be in the real estate industry, you're in the best real estate industry that there is. You're in America, you have access to information, you have access to Albert and Sylvia and all the smart people around them, you have the best access to information, and real estate is what makes the most generational wealth of anything that you can do at all. I love cryptocurrency. That's not built for generational wealth. I love investing in stocks, etc. That's not built for generational wealth. Those things do really well. However, those are not the ones that actually bring in monthly returns, like owning rental properties, owning apartment buildings, owning multifamily, owning commercial, etc. So I'm going to walk you through what I call 40-40-20. I want to do 40% low-risk investing, where I make between 5 and 9% for the year. 5 to 9% doesn't sound like a lot. It doesn't sound very exciting for most people. But I want some capital that's just at work. That money, that 40%, is just working for me. So let's use $100,000 as the model, right? You might have 10 grand, you might have 100 million. The math is the same, the percentage is the same. So let's use 100 grand as the example. So I want 40,000 out of my 100,000 dedicated to low risk investing. I want 40,000 here in the middle for medium risk investing, 10 to 30%. This is the area that most people like. This is actually what your industry is, in the 10 to 30% range on average. Over here, I want to put 20 grand, my 20%, cross my fingers. This is my high risk investments. Okay, and I'm going to walk you through real life what each one is. The high risk investment, I want something crazy to happen. 300%, 700%, 1200%. And if I get it right, woohoo! But if I get it wrong or it takes a long time, the medium risk and the low risk cover the high risk. Does that make sense? So the real life is, on the low risk side, there's a couple of key things. Right now, CDs are actually paying 5.1% at household name banks. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, etc. Just a couple of years ago, I couldn't say a CD because it was only 1 or 2%. Does anybody know why they're willing to pay 5%? It's because of commercial real estate. They have trillions of dollars out there in the streets in commercial real estate, and they need as much capital as possible. This means your Bank of America account, you can literally do a CD with Bank of America and not move it very far. You're just transferring over to your CD, and you can be earning around 5%. That's crazy. And there's no risk involved. It's not low risk, it's no risk. You know why? If Bank of America collapses, you need guns and water. Like, we have way more problems than worrying about the financial part of it. If something as big as Bank of America has a collapse, we have way bigger problems, and you'll be able to get your money out before then. So when you're with a household name bank, Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, those are not low risk, those are no risk. And if you can earn 4 or 5% through a CD, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it compounds over time. You just want to be fighting with inflation. If inflation is around 8 or 9%, you want to be fighting against that by earning 4 or 5% there. The other thing is the S&P 500. Most people, when they hear S&P 500, which is the top 500 stocks, top 500 companies on the market, they think, wait, shouldn't that be in the middle risk or high risk? That's the stock market. Over the last 93 years, the S&P 500 has averaged 11% a year return. Last year, it was 23.4%. You know why I know? Because I looked it up before I came out here. 23.4% in 1 year is insane. 11% a year over the course of time, depressions, recessions, crashes, war, it still averaged 11% a year over the course of time. Does anybody here think that Apple is going to go bankrupt? Microsoft, Google, Oracle, Netflix? No. The companies that do go bankrupt, which is rare in the top 500, guess what happens? They fall off the top 500. So you actually aren't going to ever take a big loss in the S&P 500 because they are not part of it after 1 year. If something major happens, the dollar cost average of these 500 companies, you will win. That's why there's an 11% average return for 93 years of our society. But at 11% return, you're going to beat almost any financial planner, any financial manager over the course of time because 11% is insane. We just had 2 weeks ago, this insane crash, and all over the media. The S&P 500 lost $1 trillion this week. S&P 500 lost $2.4 trillion. And everyone was going crazy in the media. Can you imagine $2.4 trillion loss? It's been 10 days, and all of it's back. The media's not saying that, are they? The media is not talking about reality is just because stock prices go down for emotion or for media, like Elon Musk, Tesla, right? People talk crap about Tesla, stock goes down. But guess what? That kid still sold 1 million cars at 60 grand each. He's still the number one company compared to all 5 combined. Let me say that one more time. Tesla does more revenue, is worth more money than the top 5 combined. GM, Ford, Chrysler, the companies we grew up with the last 90 years, 100 years, he's bigger than all of them combined. Why don't you have his stock? So the S&P 500 to me is something very simple you can do and not think about it. Your job is to throw in $1,000, 10 grand, 5 grand, 500 grand. The math is just whatever's comfortable for you, and just let it ride and have no reason to sell it. Unless for some reason you think Google and Facebook and Netflix and Oracle, Procter & Gamble are going to go down, which they're not. For some reason you have a scare in the night, guess what? You can sell it in one click and get your money out. But you should never sell it. I invest into things that I never plan on selling. One of the biggest regrets, if not the biggest regrets, that anyone in real estate has is what? Selling. Go ask Grant Cardone and all these investors and all these big business guys. When they sell, and they're like, yeah, I bought this property for $8 million, and it was 16 units, and I bought it for $8 million, I sold it for $10 million. That's 25%, that's huge. In the moment, it feels great. How much is that thing now? 19 million, 22 million, 26 million. The biggest thing that hurts emotionally in the real estate game is when you sell. In the moment, it feels exciting, and then 2 years later, you're like, argh. And 5 years later, like, oh my God. And 10 years later, like, remember your parents' houses? Your parents bought them for 100K, right? 70,000, 160,000, 140,000. And your parents' houses are probably 700,000 now, right? 500,000, $1 million. The S&P 500 is the same concept. Hold on to it for dear life. Don't even think about selling it, and that's how you build generational wealth. Each year, or if you can, each quarter or each month, throw a little bit more at the S&P 500, and you will be rich forever. Your kids will be rich. Because all the companies we're talking about, Apple, Google, Netflix, Facebook, etc., will go from 1 trillion to 2 trillion, 2 trillion to 3 trillion, 3 trillion to 4 trillion, etc., over the course of time. So here in the middle are 3 main things that you want to make around 10 to 30%. Real estate, the stock market, and cash flowing businesses. I'm not going to teach about the real estate part because you've got Albert, Sylvia, and so many amazing speakers here that are deep, deep, deep into real estate. I co-invest into real estate. I don't do real estate, right? I invest in real estate funds. I invest in real estate projects. But when you're around people that, like Albert, and around really smart people, I would rather co-invest with people that I know for many years, that I know are really good at it, rather than me pay what's called the dummy tax. Dummy tax is, let's say Dan wants to do an Airbnb, and I want to go buy one for $700,000. But Cole Hatter or Clever Investor or Albert, they want to go buy one for the same $700,000. I'm going to be on Google, general contractor, Los Angeles. They're going to be like, hey, Jonathan, how are your kids? I just bought the 700K property. I got an 80K budget. I need you to come over. How much budget should I do on property? Hey, bro, I actually need you to come tonight. I need you to start the remodeling process. I want to flip this house in the next 3 months. How many months to do? You see the difference? I'm going to pay the dummy tax. I'm going to go to Home Depot and buy everything off the shelf. He's going to get it at cost and wholesale. His contractor that he knows for all these years, he knows his kids' names, their birthdays. General contractor, right? Same general contractor is going to come help me and charge me the full rate or more, right? And he's going to take his sweet time because he's busy with his friend's place. See the difference? So I would rather co-invest with someone that I've known for many years, and all of you have access to that, or you might be that person, and so I don't want to pay the dummy tax. I'd rather make money in my business and give it to really smart people that I know and trust. What I do want to talk about is stock market, cash flow businesses. On the stock market side, remember when I asked about the iPhones? You were spending $1,600 on an iPhone, $1,200 on an iPhone, but I bet that if I asked a very honest question, how many of you honestly have more than $1,600 of Apple stock? Raise your hand. See the problem? There's hundreds of people here that have spent millions of dollars, not hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on Apple products. You bought laptops, you bought phones, you bought iPads, you bought AirPods. Do you know that the AirPod, the $300 AirPod, if that was a business, would be in the top 0.1% of businesses in human history? The AirPods did $13 billion, and you don't have Apple stock. See why I'm mad? You buy AirPods, you buy iPhones, you buy laptops, you buy computers, you buy for your whole office, and you don't buy Apple stock. All of you in your household have Netflix, or your friends do, your kids do, your parents do. All of you. And as Starlink gets stronger and Wi-Fi gets stronger and Netflix gets bigger and bigger, they're going to have their stock go up year after year after year after year. The roller coasters of a stock are irrelevant. Year after year is what matters. I don't day trade at all. Why? Why would I want to fight with quants and algorithms and all these smart people that are trading all the time? I just want to own Netflix. I just want to own Apple. I just want to own Google and Tesla and Meta. That's it. And while everyone is trading and stressing themselves out, I'm just accumulating more stock by working on my core business and buying more stock, buying more real estate, etc. If you would have, I'm going to blow your mind real quick. There's 16 phones, right? They range from $800 to $1,600. So let's take 1,300 as the average. So 1,300 times $1,600, that's around 20 grand, right? Fair? So if you would have bought all 16 phones for around $20,000, but on the same day, you bought Apple stock. So you're at the Apple store, you're super excited, you spent $1,100, you unwrapped it, but you bought $1,100 of stock that day. Does anyone know the math on 16 phones and buying 16 pieces of stock? I do, because I looked it up. $1,180,000. You can't say you couldn't afford the stock. You bought the phone. You spent $1,100 on the phone. Why couldn't you buy $1,100 of stock? Why don't you have $1.1 million right now? You don't have an excuse. You spent $10, $20 a month on Netflix for the last freaking 15 years. But if I ask you to raise your hand about Netflix, I doubt you have a couple $1,000s Netflix. Right? It's because we don't think about it. The reason I'm being aggressive is I want you to think about it forever. If you go to Walmart, why don't you have Walmart stock? If you love Amazon and you use Amazon and you spend $180 a week on Amazon, why don't you have Amazon stock? Amazon and Netflix are some of the best performing stocks in human history, and we just watched it happen. You know the famous quote, the best time to buy real estate was 10 years ago, the second best time is today? The same thing applies for stocks. Does anybody think that Amazon and Walmart are going bankrupt anytime soon? Amazon's just going to keep getting better and better and better, and their stock will just keep going up and up and up. There will be roller coasters along the way, and it doesn't matter. A stock crash and a stock market this and a fake recession they keep talking about, it doesn't matter. Because over the course of time, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Netflix, etc., not only do they get bigger and better, they're also acquiring companies along the way. They're buying other companies every single step of the way. And so they're piecing together these trillion-dollar companies that become 2 trillion, become 3 trillion, become 4 trillion, that you can invest into right now from Robinhood and stock market apps in seconds. And if you happen to need the money, like we said earlier, you could sell your stock on Robinhood, sell your 2 grand, and withdraw it to your bank, and you could have it 5 minutes later. You still have access to your capital. I would hope you don't have to sell Google, Walmart, Netflix, and Apple stock. And I can help you by saying this very clearly. I don't go all in on any one thing. The whole concept of 40-40-20 is I want small investments in a bunch of different things. No matter how much I like Apple, I would never just go buy. I'm not going to go sell my kidney and go buy everything of Apple. I like Apple, but I want to buy $2,000, $2,000, $2,000, $2,000 all the time rather than $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, put everything in one thing. I want to own Apple and Google and Netflix and Facebook and Tesla. I want to own some Amazon stock. I just want to own the top 10 stocks that I buy from. So think about what you buy from. Who do you like? You love Walmart? Maybe you should have some Walmart stock. You and your friends see Teslas everywhere? Maybe you should have some Tesla stock. I'm going to blow your mind real quick. Have you ever tried a Monster energy drink? Anybody? Do you know what the number one stock in human history is? Monster energy drink. It just proves the exact concept I'm talking about. We all bought it and saw it in every gas station, in every grocery store, in every movie theater, in every place we've gone our whole lives. We just noticed that there's a Monster can and a Red Bull can. But Monster was publicly traded the whole time. Right down the street here in Riverside area, they were just, Corona, California, they were just building up their little warehouse, and then a little bit bigger, and then a little bit bigger. The number one stock in human history, more than Amazon, Netflix, Google, Facebook, any of them, is the black and green can that we all saw. When you find something that you consume, when you find something that you like, when you find somewhere that you buy from, or you see everyone around you, you're like, oh, I don't even watch Netflix. I don't even own Netflix. Okay, everyone else in your life does. So there's some things that you might not be the consumer for, but you notice that everybody else is. That's what you should be considering buying stock in over and over and over and over in small increments that you can afford so it doesn't feel impactful whether it goes too high or too low. What you don't want to happen is the stock goes down 12%, you're like, I gotta sell it, Dan's crazy. And then it goes up 21% and 10% and 10% and 20%, and now you're crazy. You need to be able to have a small amount that you don't feel what's called a visceral reaction. It goes up 12% or down 12%, you don't care. You don't even look. Your job is to make money in your industry and keep buying $500, $1,000, $5K, $2K, whatever you can afford, over and over and over and over and over for the rest of time. Because if you do that, you will blink your eyes, year 2, year 4, year 7, etc., and the 20 grand you put in is 36. The 36 becomes 52. 52 becomes 70, becomes 100, etc., over the course of time, without you doing much. Buy 1,000 here, buy 2 grand there, buy 5 grand here, and just keep adding to it. It's the same concept in real estate. If you can go buy your first unit, duplex, fourplex, you start working your way up, now you've got 11 units and 16 units, and you blink your eyes, you might be like Mark Shapiro and have 4,200 units over the course of time. Because math and time compounds. If you're 36 years old and you keep buying 1 or 2 units a year, and then you get to 2 or 3 units a year, then 3 to 5 units a year as you start to make more and more money, 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 5 to 8, it just adds up real quick, it compounds, then you start leveraging, refinancing, you blink your eyes and you've got 40 units and you are set forever, and generational wealth starts to happen. You go from 40 units to 48, 48 to 80, things start to happen for you. Now people want to co-invest with you. Now you start to be able to buy 80 units, 100 units, 200 units, bam, bam. Now you become like Bobby Castro, Brad Sumrock, some of these great people that have 8,000 units, 11,000 units. That's just from math and time compounding. But it all starts with 1 unit here, 2 units here, 4 units here, etc. Your job is to make money in your core career and then deploy capital into things that we just talked about. Stock market, real estate, cash flowing businesses, S&P 500, things that you like from what you're hearing about. Your job is to make money from your core business and take a percentage of that and invest it into these things. That's how you build generational wealth. On the cash flowing business side, well, I like things that have been proven over time. Quick example. 2018, I invested $500,000 in a company called Everbowl. They had 13 locations. By the time I invested, they had 17 locations. Everbowl is an acai bowl chain. 2019, I raised $5 million from them, from my mastermind members, my friends. And then like 10 seconds later was March 2020. The whole world shut down. And we've got 25 restaurants, just raised $5 million. The media is like, 2 weeks till we find a cure. 2 weeks became 2 years. During that time, the founder, Jeff Fenster, he went and signed 340 leases that year. Why would you go sign 340 leases when you only have 25 locations and the whole world is shut down? Because when people are in fear, you go forward. When people are too cocky, you retract. During those moments, people were in the biggest fear in human history because we thought everyone's going to die if they breathe air. Oh, don't get me started on that. 340 leases where we got 6 months free rent, 12 months free rent, 50 grand in TI, tenant improvements, 100 grand, tenant improvements. We were getting all these special deals because no one else was crazy enough to go sign leases on restaurants. Everyone else was closing their restaurants. We went and signed leases left and right. I set up Jeff with the guys from a company called Icon Meals. They set him up with QVC. Remember QVC on television? I said, remember, because it sounds like it's back in the day. QVC still does billions of dollars every single month. Right now, today. So all of a sudden, the founder of Everbowl, while all the competitors and restaurants are closing down, canceling leases, getting scared, freaking out, get him on QVC and he makes 90,000 frozen packs of acai, because we had it in the warehouse. Goes on there and sells $150,000 every 11 minutes on QVC. Ends up doing $7 million in sales on QVC, where right before COVID, we couldn't spell QVC. We had no plans of it. When you find someone, a founder that you believe in, friend, coworker, maybe it's yourself, that can go through hard stuff, like the whole world shutting down, and figure it out, that's who you invest into. You'll see them. There'll be people in your life from the past, present, and future. You'll believe in them and you'll see them that you know can fight through the hard stuff. That's your ride or die friend. The person that's ride or die for that business, that's who you want to invest into. So now fast forward, 13 locations, 17, 25 locations. Everbowl now, just a few years later, we have 96 locations. We open one new one every 6 days. We've sold 430 locations to Drew Brees, Jason Tatum, Kamaru Usman, the fighter. All these people have been buying hundreds of locations where we could have just shriveled up and died like everybody else. When you can find a cash flowing business that already has some locations open, that's medium risk or low risk. If the same founder asked me to invest in location number 1, super high risk. It's kind of like the example I did earlier with real estate, with Cole Hatter versus me doing a refinance, doing a fix and flip. This person opening location number 1, they're going to overpay for rent, they're going to overpay for employees, they're going to overpay for their equipment, overpay for the refrigerator, pay for rush shipping on blah, blah, blah. They're going to pay too much for the paint. They're going to take. Let's say someone over here opens their first restaurant and they're open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. But they make their staff all come in at 7 a.m. and there's 4 of them. But they actually didn't need them to come in. 3 of them didn't have to come in until right at 9 o'clock. 1 needs to come in to set up. Doesn't sound like a big deal, right? 3 employees for 2 hours, 6 hours a day of extra, $15. Wait, 6 hours times $15, that's $90 a day. That's $2,700 a month. That's $35,000 a year of net income. $35,000 means I had to do $150,000 in Everbowl sales to pay for 2 little hours for 3 little employees. See the difference? The person that has 13 locations, they know that stuff. They've been through the hard parts. They've done the overpayments. The person that does the first one, they might have read about it on the internet, but they don't know in real life until they get into it. And so I don't invest into location number 1. Does that make sense? That makes it high risk. Can you invest into your friend's location number 1? You can, and sometimes it works out great. It'll never be as efficient as someone that has 13 locations, 5 locations, 20 locations, etc. So that's the difference between high risk and medium risk. So if your friend, she's opening her 6th salon, or your friend is opening their 14th gym, those are medium risk or low risk. Those are interesting to co-invest into. Those are interesting to partner with. Those are interesting to do deals with. Oftentimes you can find cash flowing businesses in your category. You might be a mortgage broker and you notice on everything you spend, right? When you do a closing, there's this whole list of things that are being paid out, right? $1 million property, we're paying out to escrow company, the notary, the person that's, all these things happen on that $1 million sale. And right after that, a bunch of stuff happens, right? General contractors, remodeling, painting, removing the trash, installing the garages, changing the security locks, the doors, the systems. So much gardening happens, the pool cleaning. So many things happen on a home, right? Before, during, and after. Before the sale, during the sale, after the sale. You might have your 2 18-year-old twin sons that you're like, hey, why don't you start a pool cleaning business? You might have your friends, why don't you make them start a notary company or partner with a notary that you noticed, like, we do 300 closings a year, we do 300 notary signings, notary's only $100. Times that by 300, it becomes interesting. And you could actually be referring to other people as well, because you know a bunch of people in the industry, right? Look at what you spend money on before, during, and after in your niche, and you will find other cash flowing businesses that you might be able to partner with, do deals with, or just get affiliate commissions from or partnerships with. You might send them business, they might send you business. That notary that you hire 300 times a year, you know what else they do? Another 1,000 with other realtors. Another 1,000 with other people in the industry. Maybe you can work some type of referral deal. Someone who does the remodeling of a house, the general contractor, the person that does the roof, the tile, the concrete driveways, they don't just do your driveways. They probably do a couple hundred other driveways. Why don't you talk to people in your industry about other parts of cash flowing businesses? And the last thing I'll talk about is Bitcoin. So angel investing is what I talked about when I put in money to Everbolt. Even though it's a cash flowing business, that's considered an angel investment. I've done 43 angel investments. 43 sounds like a lot. That's over the course of the last decade. I'm just doing 3 here, 5 here, 4 here, 6 here, 3 here each year. Math and time compounds. My investments compound over the course of time, and it just adds up. But on the Bitcoin side, you've been hearing about it for now 13 years. Back in 2014, I installed the first Bitcoin ATMs into a casino in Las Vegas. Bitcoin was $340 at the time. Bitcoin now is $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. 300 times more expensive, right? So if you put in $300, your $300 is now worth $100,000. Mind-blowing, right? I still bought Bitcoin this week. So even though you can see me in the news smiling next to a Bitcoin ATM at the D Hotel Casino in Las Vegas, next to my ATM machine at $340, I'm still a buyer right now. Why? If I liked it back then, when everyone thought I was a cuckoo bird, everyone thought I was crazy talking about Bitcoin, why wouldn't I like it now when it's finally getting mass adoption? When finally venture capital, countries, the government, everyone's buying it all over the planet, why wouldn't I be buying it now? 80,000 becomes 90, 90 becomes 120, 120 becomes 200, 200 becomes a million. Math and time compounds. Bitcoin will have roller coasters along the way. However, it's only actually had one losing year in 14 years. So as an investor, that's what I like. You should be considering $100 of Bitcoin, $500 of Bitcoin. Again, don't go sell a kidney and buy $100,000 of Bitcoin. I'm not saying your kidney's $100,000, but don't go sell a kidney and go buy a bunch of Bitcoin, but you should be having some exposure to it. You should have a little bit of it because it is the best performing investment asset in the history of the world. It's the highest return investment ever created. No one can stop it. No government can stop it. No one can, on any part of our planet, can stop what's happening with it. And it's a supply and demand thing. The supply keeps getting less because more people are buying it that don't sell it, and the demand keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And speaking of supply and demand, my time is up with you, and I can see Albert and Sylvia right there over there. So my name is Dan Fleyshman. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you later.